My guest this morning, of course, Samuel Atamensa, who is Managing Director for City FM. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Were you at the conference center yesterday?
Verily.
Verily.
I
like that. And also, of course, Pastor Michael Bwedi Nyameche. That's Dr. Michael Bwedi Nyameche.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you for having me.
Founder of the Makers Chapel International. I have to add that one. Why? You're too modest. And Mr. Kopi Chamba, I haven't seen you in a while. You've been busy campaigning.
Yes.
Cape Coast North. Exactly. I hope you win.
Hopefully I should win.
You should. You must win. I mean, if you don't win...
It's long overdue, Kopi.
Is it?
He being in Parliament is way overdue.
Yeah? Well, finally he's taken that step. Yeah, finally. Yeah, Cape Coast North. Right. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I personally want you to win.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, no, that's fine. You need fine gentlemen.
Yeah, he's a gentleman. He's a nice man. Yeah.
Me too. I want him to win the primaries.
You want him to win the primaries? Yeah, he will win
the primaries.
But not the main one?
No, that I will share.
Anyway, that was just by the way. Of course, we all know what transpired at the conference center yesterday. Mr. Champ, I'll start with you because I haven't spoken to you so far about this. And the shock yesterday, on social media yesterday, everyone was talking about this. Hundreds, scores of people thronged the conference center to watch this video. And a lot of people were shocked. Not because of what how the judges were captured on the tape, but some of the monies they took. I mean, 100 Ghana, 50 Ghana, 500, you know.
Well, Nana, I'm not surprised people were shocked because ever since the announcement was made or the advert was put out that there was going to be an earth-shaking expose on the judiciary, people have had their expectations. As to how the expectations were to be manifested, it meant different things for different people. But probably yesterday brought it all together for the kind of expectations people had. And if you watched what happened or what was captured on video, from wherever you sit, you'll be shaken to the marrow. Shaken because...
Were you there?
I didn't go there, but I had basically read a lot about it and I could put together what was going to happen. People were shaken because of the magnitude of the offenses captured on tape. And the kinds of monies, as you alluded to, that were taken to let people off for the kinds of things they had committed. Criminal actions that had been brought before the law courts, which were passed over just for paltry sums of money. That is what has shaken the nation to its marrow. And for me, that is a clarion call. We need to set up as a nation and begin to look at the way we do things. You see, you could blame all the judges you want, but it's a bigger mirror on the society. I mean, these monies that were exchanged go on in other areas where people haven't sent cameras just yet. Mm-hmm. And therefore, it tells us that we have a major problem on hand. I am hopeful that the Judicial Service and the Judicial Council will deal with this thing swiftly so that we can put this matter to rest. Because, you know, we always say justice grinds slowly. But where the arbiters of justice are involved, it raises a complete different issue. And for me, that's where the problem is. If we don't deal with it swiftly and put it in proper perspective and mete out the punishment based on the rule of law, then we'll be sitting in that quicksand again. We could get back into it, and this time it might be in a very devastating form, because you wouldn't know what the judges, so to speak, would demand this time to dispense justice. And for me, that's where my worry is. I hope we can overcome this quickly and get on with running the country again.
Pastor.
Well, no, thank you. I think it just tells you that a lot of people are not happy about what is happening in our system. If you see how many people were... I was following TV3, your coverage yesterday, and you could tell many people going in there. And a lady expressed something which I found was very amazing. The lady said that she was involved, she had a case, she's been there, she has evidence to support her case, and although she's been going to the court, justice has been denied her. And she's claiming that justice has been denied her because all the judges that have sat on her cases were mentioned as well. And so for her, even if the evidence couldn't be admitted in court and they couldn't even use it to her advantage. She still feels that the arm of justice had been twisted or bent. It tells you that the society is having problems trying to understand how things are working. And just like Kobe said, I think that it is a major problem, not just with the judiciary. I was telling somebody yesterday that even the way we bring our children up, we corrupt them at the initial or infantile stages. If a mother wants to, say, the son or a baby to come, say, oh, come, I have toffee for you, put the hand behind it or behind there. And so as soon as the baby comes, just takes hold of the baby. And so the baby knows that, okay, so mom called me not because of the toffee, but because he wanted to take hold of me. Now you have exposed the child to something, lying, corrupt practice, improper representation of facts and events. And so I believe that what is happening right now, and we should look at it not just with the judiciary. I believe that it's just because theirs are out. There are many others that have not come out yet. From the clergy, the pulpit to the backstage. Everybody, we should. I think that is a time for more introspection as a nation, and we have to try to overcome these challenges. These are trying times. I believe that we shall surely overcome. Yeah,
Were you at the conference center?
No.
You didn't want the video to be
not that. But well, now I want to see it.
Now you want to see it. Samens, tell me about the crowd. I mean, we saw pictures, we saw the videos, but when you got there, what was the first thing that hit you?
I mean, I deliberately got there late because I didn't want to be cited for contempt.
For all the things that have gone on, right?
Well, yeah. Knowing what I knew. But I got there, say, around 5 o'clock. Yeah, around 5 or so, just before 5. And the traffic was so long. It went up to the new building, the new Rich Hospital building. That's where the traffic has started from. So I maneuvered my way in, used the tennis place, and then got down and walked across. It's you could see anxiety written on people's faces as they approached the conference center. I mean, one of mixed expectation. People were not too sure whether the screening of the video was going to live up to its billing, or it's going to be another anticlimax of a showing. And so you could see everybody was quiet. Everybody entering the place was just quiet, and people sat down patiently. And I made a close observation on the body language of some of the key personalities that were present. So beginning, some gentleman comes to welcome the crowd, and then in an amazing fashion invites the Methodist pastor to give an opening prayer. So the pastor comes and commits the nation into God's hands and asks for wisdom for the managers of this nation to carry us through. And I thought that was also very instructive and significant. And then they set the ball rolling. Nanaba, the place was quiet. I mean, the place was quiet. I was just watching. The place was so quiet until the first bombshell dropped. When people saw the real exchange of the money, that's when the whole crowd just shouted, "Hey!" And then the thing started, one after the other. And so, if you spoke with any of the people that went there, they were short of words. They were just short of words. Because you see, it's so real and it's so disappointing. And it's not something you wish for even your worst enemy. And that's why people left there in sobriety. They left there, humbled, because you see, it shows how human we are and how depraved we are, how exposed we are. I mean, you see adults who are falling for these, schemes, let me put it that way. And it could be anybody, And I say today it is their day, tomorrow it may be somebody else's day. And I watched the thing at some point, and I was in a company of a number of policemen. And there was a young police lady by me, and I could see tears. I'm telling you. And I said, my dear, you are in uniform. You can't do what you are doing. And then she just left. She said, Obi papa. You understand? So for me, it's not something that you live there in a triumphant mood. You live there and you are sobered. Because it's disappointing, and it's the lowest that we can see for a nation. Because the judiciary will be our last port of reference in anything we do. Look at the election petition. Right. I mean, a country that looked forward so much to election. After the election, we said no, we are not satisfied. Where did we go to? We didn't go to church. We went back to the judiciary. And I'm saying that even when church people have a problem, they will go to the judiciary. So it's important that we fine-tune the system. So yesterday was a revelation for all of us, but instructively, it's something that is going to redefine the new direction for this country with reference to the judiciary.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of people are talking about. Where do we go from here? I mean, even though the Chief Justice has set up committees to investigate these things, until the report is out, until these judges are put before court, if indeed that would happen, where do we go? I mean, the public right now, after watching what they saw yesterday, and is there another viewing today?
Yes.
Okay, so more people will throng to the conference center. Is the mindset what people would be thinking about the judiciary from now? Difficult.
Yes, Nana, but very difficult, because if you're filling a passport form, there's a section that will tell you High Court judge, this. They're trying to tell you all your credentials must be verified by somebody sitting there. The way we hold our judges in esteem in our society, judges don't mingle freely in the society. It ensconces them as a special breed of people who need protection. So the moment you enter the system, you are protected, you have a guard, police guard. We give them everything that allows them to function in the society. Now, when we all put our trust in these people, and our trust comes crashing down, the manner we are seeing it, it becomes devastating. Where we go from here, as far as I'm concerned, is what we do to deal with the situation. If we leave it the way it is, we'll sink further. Because, we have a very bad tendency of not learning from history. I'm not sure this is the first time judges have been on the roller coaster. I remember during the PNDC years, something similar to this occurred, even though on a smaller scale. But over the years, we've come back to that same position now. What lessons did we learn then? What lessons are we learning now? That should inform us with regards to our actions in the future. Those are the things that are very principal. And I think, like I said, the Judicial Council, Judicial Service should take the bull by the horns and do what is right. In dealing with this issue, we seem to have forgotten a certain group of people who, as far as I'm concerned, are initiators of some of these things. Citizens and the clerks in the courts. You can never get to a judge without getting through a clerk. They're the medium. In all this, we seem to have left them out. Now, if we deal with the judges and don't deal with the clerks, and don't check ourselves as citizens.
Some of them were captured on this.
Exactly. Yeah. And don't deal with ourselves as citizens, that I have a case in court and I have to go and bribe a judge to get a fair judgment. You see, we'll not be dealing with the issue. Because look, you have a right. But like I always say, your right also comes with a responsibility. are we being patriotic citizens who believe in the courts, who believe in the rule of law? The answer is for us all to answer and deal with. Because you cannot leave only the judges alone. Somebody offered, somebody was a medium, and he took. That's where we sit. So let us be circumspect and analyze our whole system and make sure that we do not get into this kind of situation again. Because it doesn't speak well for us at all. Look, I look at investors who want to come and invest. They go through all the GIPC, whatever, and then they tell you in case of dispute, arbitration will be under the rules of court in Ghana. And they hear, this is what we do here. We buy justice. What do you think they will do? Would they bring their money here to put it in a country where they know somebody can take as little as 100 cedis and let a serious matter just pass under the water? We are a nation in crisis as far as this issue is concerned. We need to sit up and take them by the hand.
He mentions the clerks, because when you watch that video, there's a case where a clerk says that I don't want money, I prefer sex. So Tiger Eye got him a prostitute. Embarrassing. So embarrassing. And he mentions the issue of the whole system. School admissions are coming up. Very soon, parents will be paying whatever they feel is right to headmasters so their children get admission, even when the children have not made the right grades to go into those schools. Pastor Nyameche.
Again, I think it's a social problem. It's a national issue. If just like you cited, if parents are going to pay for the awards to gain admission in our various schools, even though they don't meet the grades for it, it means that already the orientation is that even if you don't merit it, you can still buy it. Even if you can't get in through the right way, you can still. But in all these things, one of the things that we are supposed to also understand is that if wisdom demands that we learn from history, wisdom also demands that we protect ourselves from its repeating itself. Exactly. And so what we ought to do going forward is that the people, obviously, they are also putting counterclaims that they didn't go for it, they were tempted, they were offered and all that. But you see, when you are placed on a certain pedestal in the society, you are supposed to live up to a certain level of, say, expectation. And so you don't say that because they brought it, I also took it or something. Whatever it is, the Judicial Council, the CJ, they are supposed to be firm. The other day, some men were saying we should pray for them. Prayers have been lifted. People are praying for them. However, this calls for action. People are going to now see how they are going to address these issues. Then it will restore confidence, investor confidence, citizenry confidence. Everybody is going to now have their confidence back as far as the judicial service is concerned. But I want us to also look at it from a more broader perspective. If you don't also offer, if they come to you and to say that, oh no, this judge, I know the judge. If we go and see the judge, or if we go and meet this man, he'll give your child admission, grant you bail, do all those. Oh, it's just the police. Oh, give them money, they will leave you. And so people, it's becoming normal instead of the society frowning upon it. Right now, if you are, even a police officer stops you, somebody, you know what they are looking for, just give them. Why do you allow them to waste your time? Mm-hmm. And so it's like everybody is keen into it. Everybody thinks is the new normal. Well, it's not. And so I think that we all need to get ourselves to the place whereby we tell ourselves we want to move the nation forward. There are certain things, if I'm found guilty, let me face the full rigors of the law rather than trying to twist the arm of justice. Okay,
I want us to look at another issue. Yesterday, Justice Emil Short, in interviews with the media, re-echoed something Mr. Kujeto also raised. The criteria for recruiting magistrates and judges. The two of them think that we should take another look at that criteria.
Well, I don't think that's my problem. I mean, that's somebody's job. And I don't know any of these judges, but I can best my last comment that even if they had such a stringent criteria, most of these judges would have passed through. Because as somebody was saying, he pointed to one of them when they were showing, he said, this man is such a brilliant he was such a brilliant lawyer. You understand? So I'm not so sure if the criteria is the main issue. Kobe made the point about the general nature of the Ghanaian. You know, it's not somebody from another country that has come to quote unquote tempt the judges. It's Ghanaians. Do you understand? And what has happened in the judiciary can replicate itself in other areas with ease, no complication at all. But as I was saying, today is the judiciary. But we are concerned because we are a helpless group of people, and we have always referred to the judiciary for direction, adjudicature, and all this. So we are just saying that let's sort it out because it's a problem that has confronted us. We know we have many problems, but we can only tackle them one after the other. You know, Anas made a very interesting reference to, and he actually commended the judges who were able to resist. And he commended by naming them and putting their names on the screen. And I thought, this man didn't just come here to shame people. And he added that these persons gave us a hard time. And I listened carefully. So I'm saying that all of them were exposed to the same level of temptation. And yet some people were able to resist. Some people succumbed. I don't know what accounts for that. But I'm just saying that how we, and to re-echo what Kobe said, how we manage this situation is going to be very instructive for our future as a nation. Another video, will this be the very first time? The answer is no. Will it be the very first time it's being screened in public? The answer is no. But as a nation, what lessons did we pick from his expose on SEPS, the cocoa industry, Osu Children's Home, the mental hospital? Years after Anas's expose on the mental hospital, what is the state of the mental hospital? Nothing has changed.
It's worsened, actually.
So you understand? So it's just doing a merry-go-round and just exciting ourselves. But if we do nothing with this particular one, then we have just destroyed our judicial system and the whole structure. It is my estimation. So how this thing is handled, and again, when Anas as a person is left to be dealt with by the whole strength of the judiciary, it's like Anas versus the judiciary. I laugh, because if you think it's a conquest effort over Anas, and then so that when you succeed at using legal whatever to overcome him, you have done nothing, because you are still not winning the moral battle. What accounts for your reputation as a judge has been faded away easily with the showing of this video. Look, Kobe, beyond everything else, I pitied the judges, and it was so well produced as you moved from the south to the north. So he moved from region to region. You could see the states of the judges. Some of them, the homes where they live. One of them had covered himself with a cloth, waiting for them to bring the money, and was battling with mosquitoes. If we are making mosquitoes chew me, why? And you could see torn windows, and that's a judge. So see, there are conditions. Some of them. You see, I'm not justifying, but I'm saying that in solving the situation, we need to now consider all these things. Because I don't think that by virtue of being posted to say Ra or some place like that, it should take something away from what you enjoy as a judge. You understand? Because we talk about how much. Some people even took 500 cedis. They forget that if somebody takes 500 cedis 3 times a day, 7 times a week, 28 times a month, that's a lot of money. You see, for the court clerk to be able to tell Pastor or Kobe that, you know, as for this judge, let's not go to him because he won't agree. But as for this one, I can talk to him. It means that he has a track record. You see, this is the challenge. And for the court, you see, these court clerks, it's their work. And if you dealt with some of them, they even understand the practice more than the lawyers and the judges themselves. Because they were there before you came. So they will trick you. Same with politicians. When you are made a minister today, there's somebody at the ministry there who was there before you finished secondary school. And you'll be there, you come and drop some money on your table. You say, what is it? Petrol. And then you gradually they are drawing you into it. This is what we do. So I think that my prayer call for the Chief Justice is still on. We should also pray for Anas himself. You see, we've seen investigative journalists over the years. Me and you, we have had the likes of William Nyakun, who used to be with the Chronicle back in the day. To some extent, what's his boy's name? I forget his name. He was on Good Evening Ghana yesterday. You know, we've had people like that. But the level to which Anas has taken it is admirable. Yes, he's not a perfect human being. But he only picks issues in the interest of the nation. You understand? We've had other investigative journalists who are just trying to track people, who are chasing other people's wives, people who are going to do. I'm telling you. So I'm saying that when the choice is in the interest of the nation, we need to applaud him.
Absolutely. I'm just wondering why some preferred the goat to the sheep. I mean, he was so outraged and upset that I said I wanted a goat. Why bring me a sheep?
Let me end my part of this conversation with this. You know, take a 30-year-old man or woman who has come out of university, has found a job, manages to save some money, and buys a piece of land. You know, in this country, it takes you a long time to build and own your own property. Just the land alone is a stumbling block because the land is under litigation. Look at a young man who is starting life, or a young woman who has to go through this, only to end up in court and have a judge take a paltry sum of money and throw his case the other way around. You've dashed his life forever. If such a person never goes into the business of even trying to build a house, it's because of what happened in court. And we are seeing this happening day and night, many times over. Simple land litigation, land that has been sold to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. And you don't have any way out, because when you take it to court, these are some of the things that will happen. What are we doing to ourselves as a society? This is a clarion call. We need to change the way we do it. Sometimes, I always say we should do the radical things. Because sometimes you do the radical things, it helps. You make mistakes along the way, but you get it right. You know, I've always said, look, some of these cases shouldn't even go to court. Sentence them straight away. No, seriously. No. You see, we would make...
That's a bit of a stretcher.
Go read American history. Go read American history. Some of these things happened.
FBI will just take over.
FBI will take over and then you are in jail. We will make mistakes along the way, but we will get it right. We will make mistakes, but we will get it right. Because look at all these legal gymnastics that are being played. Just even preventing the viewing of them.
Justice Derry, I was going to bring his issue up.
Well, I think, within the regime that we find ourselves, it's their right to want to use whatever is available to them. You know, even an armed robber, when you arrest him, then his next hope is justice. He's hoping that he will have a fair hearing. So I think that, yes, they should do what they have to do to clear themselves. And Anas will also do what he has to do to make sure that he establishes his, whatever he wants to establish.
A motive.
Dr. Nameche.
I want to say that Anas commended people who did not take the bribe. Again, it's also because of personal values. I believe that the whole value system in our society is supposed to be looked at again. Our upbringing, the way we train people. What will make somebody take it and another not taking it? It's not so much to do with their level of needs. Because a poor man can decide, I still have my dignity and integrity to keep, and so I don't want this. And so it's all to do with the value systems that we have. Then again, you have to look at the whole patriotic appeal that we give. I quite remember when we were in school, primary, secondary, and all that, you sing the national anthem. Quite recently, I think it was in the NPP era, when some minister was asked to sing the anthem. Was it sing the anthem or recite the pledge? That the minister could
disastrous.
So obviously, even the very nation, the allegiance, the oath, the pledges, that and it's so pathetic, because these days, if you meet anybody from secondary school, primary, most of them can't even recite our pledges. They have no allegiance to the nation, no loyalty lines, things that will keep the nation, put the nation up there. We don't have people pledging allegiance to it. And so I would say that we should look more at our social value systems, what we as a people value more. Do we think that money is the all in all, or we have a nation to build? Social progress or individual progress? Which of them do we? I mean, collect individually. If we all progress, it means that the society becomes better. But at the end of the day, we should place the society first, Ghana first, state before anything else. And if we do that, irrespective of your political affiliation, whatever where you are coming from, your orientation and all that, I believe that we'll be able to push the nation forward. But if we don't look at our value systems, then we are still going to come back to this same issue: the value systems, patriotism, and all that.
Okay, now let's move on to other stories. On page 16, cop shot dead at fuel station in Ho. A policeman attached to the Rapid Deployment Force at the Volta Regional Police Command has been shot dead at a fuel station in Ho. General Constable Emmanuel Ni Acheku, who was on night duty, was shot by some unidentified armed robbers who attempted to rob the LPG filling station at dawn yesterday. According to information gathered by the Graphic, the policeman was on guard at the filling station when the robbers overpowered him by first hitting him with a cement block and later shot him.
That's sad.
Very sad. Very, very sad. Kobe.
This is very traumatic. You know, as a former Deputy Minister of the Interior, when I hear such cases about police people, it gets to me. These are people who are supposed to protect society. And if we do this to them, then what are we telling ourselves as a society? I believe the police has a critical role to play here. And I know with their investigative units, they will be able to trace the culprits. I always have trust in them. I mean, it might take a long time, but they'll be able to track those people who committed this heinous crime. My heart goes out to the family of this young policeman who has suffered this cruel fate. And for the location where he was on guard duties, I think it's important for them to look at their security arrangements. I don't know whether it's a cluster of service stations that are there or it's a lone service station. The question you want to ask, if it's a lone service station, why do you put a lone policeman as guard? That's the critical thing. We need to look at some of these arrangements carefully so that we don't put our men in uniform under this kind of strain and stress. This is not the first time it's happening, but you see, the way it happens makes it difficult for you to deal with. And therefore, I will urge the police authorities to basically do what they have to do with regards to investigation and bring these culprits to book.
It's sad. It's very sad what has happened to Constable Achiku. We wish their family well. May God help them. But again, I would say that if the police will be able to track them, just like Obi was saying, then they should be, in more developed or advanced states, they'll be able to even notice their bullets, as codes, track it, trace it to where it's coming from or who sold it. They'll be able to do that. in our society, people can even bring it without it being noticed. There are local manufacturers and all that, and so it's a sad state for us as a nation. But I strongly do believe that we should look at investing into some of these areas as well. The nations that have been able to do that, they did not do it overnight, obviously, but they had a commitment to get that done. And so if it's going to take more millions of US to be able to get some of these things on document, on file, and then make sure that we are able to control our borders very well, how guns get in. Some of these are not the locally made ones. Some are very sophisticated ones. And so how did they get in? Probably, I don't want to say bribed at the ports, but because Anas has not brought that yet. But what I will say is that we need to tighten our borders. We need to be more firm with some of these things and try to help them. If you put one young man, Constable Acheku, he looks very young, which means that he should be more agile than the elderly ones. However, he can survive. And these ones, when they are coming these days, they are very mean. Again, he also talks about, if you look at it holistically, then it means that why are people also getting into armed robbery? Some because they are lazy, they don't want to work. They just want fast life without working for it. But some too, you can't, values obviously. You can't say that because there is no work, that is the only thing you can do. And so we have to look at all these things. But I think that this police service should, the Ministry for Interior should invest more into getting our policemen more. Now these days there are more modern things that can keep them up and running, and yeah.
Someone said they took his weapon away.
I think this is just mere wickedness. I mean, in certain areas, when you take the person's weapon, they will tie you and do their thing and then leave. But going to the next step of killing him, is unfortunate and it should be condemned. And it's what happens to them when they are arrested is always my concern. I mean, watching the announced thing again yesterday, I saw the Unity Oil robbery. Okay, and it turns out that the people who did this, who were sentenced, had gone to bribe a certain judge to release them. You see how painful this will be. But what happens to them when they are arrested is what will deter other people from getting into it. Because there's a point in the life of a frustrated young man or young woman where they are influenced to get into all sorts of situations like armed robbery, like streetism and all these things. So I think that the police should be supported in dealing with situations like this. If it means resourcing them a bit more, we should do that. So far, the police looks good, in my estimation. I'm sure they will have their challenges, but relatively they look good. And we have more policemen visible on our streets, which is a good sign again. Whether they are experienced enough, I can't tell. But at times when you look at some of them, they look a bit feeble, and you ask yourself, this man, when they shoot one guy, they will scatter themselves, But we should take it more seriously. And what happens to these culprits when they are arrested is also very key.
No, but let me say something. In the US, when you attack a postal officer, it's a federal crime. Federal crime, not a state crime. Which means you can go into jail for 10 years or more when you are convicted. We need to look at the possibility of passing such laws in this country, making it an offense to touch even a man in uniform. We need to give them that kind of protection. You see, aside enforcing the law, we need to protect them in that way.
That's true.
Because look, we already have a deficit of policemen on the streets, protecting all of us. We're always trying to meet the UN standards of the number of policemen to citizens. Now, if we begin to use such avenues to kill the policemen that we are training, take away their uniforms, their weapons, that means we are looking at a bigger problem. I know the weapon can be tracked because the police have a good record of their weapons. They can track it. But the life that is lost will not come back. We need to find a way to protect our officers in uniform.
You wanted to add something?
No.
Okay. Let's do some politics now. MP aspirants, including Kobe, trooped to NDC offices for vetting. When is your vetting?
Last night.
Oh, you did it last night?
Yes.
So what time did you get to Accra?
I got back like almost 2 a.m.
Okay. And you seem to be losing your voice.
I lost it even before the vetting.
You were screaming.
No, I was down with a cold.
Ah, right.
Yes, and I'm trying to come out of it, but
Yeah.
it just took
These
my
are hard
voice.
times.
Yeah. How was the vetting?
Well, it went pretty well. I was vetted probably a few minutes to 12 midnight.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they had a very difficult job, the vetting committee, and I dove my heart out to them. They started this process probably around 8:39 in the morning, and they stayed through, because I was about the last but 2 person to be vetted, or our constituency. So I'm assuming they finished after 12 midnight, and they stayed to vet everybody. And they are moving on to the Western region to do that today. So it's a tough job, but they have to do it, and they've done it. I got vetted probably a little around 11:30.
For how long?
I pretty spent like 10 minutes with them, and basically they passed me, and then we conducted a ballot for positions on the ballot paper. And I'm not good at these things, but for once I picked the number 1 spot.
Well, probably a sign that you may win.
I picked the number 1 spot, which I'm very grateful. It makes it easier for people to recognize you when you tell them you are the first person on the ballot paper.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, the vetting process has started. It started yesterday. It's going to continue for a while. We understand about 81 of them will be vetted in the Eastern region alone. The numbers are really high.
Have you talked about voter regime?
Well,
that's
a special case.
A party in government is always attractive. Always attractive.
Well, we had.
It depends on where the party is competing.
No, I mean, but when they are in government,
Generally.
always attractive.
Like the 17 people who wanted to be president once upon a
Yes.
time.
When the party is in
The
government,
pageant.
it's always attractive. I think the NDC is doing something that I admire. When yesterday I was listening to the General Secretary, who was saying he was in the Northern region vetting people, and I think that with the other parties, I think the regional executives will handle their own stuff, and not the general secretaries moving from one constituency to the other, just like these ones are doing. Probably is an overkill, but I think that maybe with what they want to do, this is how they want to go about it, to get the right persons to block the Boateng from contesting.
You brought that back.
But on a more serious note,
The guy wanted
George
to
Boateng.
that guy was just an aberration to the whole
but so
process.
that if you have a very strong setup, you are able to ward off people who are not supposed to get into your midst. You are able to protect the sanity and integrity of your party. That's what I mean. But I think that it's lucrative now. Is attractive. Is more attractive to contest on the ballot or on the ticket of the NDC now that they are in power, especially in the voters, some central regions, Western and all that. I think is good, and we wish them well. We pray that it will be problem free. They will not. The allegations that people are trying to disqualify others are not going to come up. Those things are also coming up here and there. We hope that they will get the right persons to represent us. To me, it's not so much to do with who is. I mean, it's just about the right persons representing us in our parliament. And if they do that to get us the right ones, yes, why not? We wish them well.
Summons.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing this whole process unfold. I think the NDC as a party has improved on the way it has managed this year in particular. Maybe they are also picking lessons from the other parties and the challenges that went ahead of them. And so, and again, as a person, one thing that I have admired about this process is, and I know I'm going to get into trouble for this one, the quality of persons that are putting themselves up. I mean, I can't but admire them. You know, I was with Prince Derek Ejay yesterday, and I said to him that you belong to Parliament, not this your rabble-rousing Gandangwe you think that you've been doing. Go to Parliament and speak for the guys. If so, well, that's what you want to do. You know, because I know him, he was with me in school. I know Kobe when I was in primary school, he was my senior.
Yeah?
The only thing I remember him do was that every time he held a big book that he was reading. You know, so we want to see more of such people put themselves up, because that will be a good example for the youth. You know, and nobody can bamboozle them when these persons are in Parliament. That's what we want.
That's very true, actually. All right, another story here. Justice Ajakuma is true patriot. That's Nanado speaking. Nana Akufo-Addo, 2016 presidential candidate of the NPP, has paid a visit to Justice Ajakuma, the 36-year-old man who lost one eye as a result of police brutality in the September 16 demonstration for a new voters register. At the Nima Newtown residence of Ajakuma yesterday, Nanado explained that after being informed of the unfortunate events of September 16 while on the Rise and Build tour in the Upper East region and what happened to Ajakuma in particular, he made it a point to visit him on his return to Accra. The NPP flag bearer expressed his deepest sympathies to Ajakuma and his family, who he said had sacrificed so much for the common cause of Ghana. Dr. Nyamich, I'll start with you on this one. I mean, not so much of a concentration on the gentleman, but we are very sorry. I mean, I feel sorry for him.
He lost an eye?
Yes.
Sad. I have mixed feelings about these things that are happening. One is, if the police were able to secure something from the courts, that these are the designated routes that you are supposed to take, and you deviate from that, you accept copies and you deviate from that, it means that you have even thrown the laws through the window. You have no regard for the laws, and that is something that I wish that the demonstrators are supposed to look at. If we want to be law-abiding citizens, I don't think that the police were saying that don't demonstrate. I think the thing is, don't use route A, don't use route B. These are the ones, and we are going to give you protection, we are going to be with you, but these are the designated routes. And I think it was in the interest of even themselves and the police and the general public that we stick to what has been agreed upon. The main thing that brought this thing is the voters register, which the NDC, if you read their submission to the EC, the EC is an independent body. They called for proposals. Everybody has sent yes. There are others who are of the opinion that is bloated. There are a lot of problems with our register, and so it needs to be amended. Others are saying that no, we can do an audit without necessarily changing it. These are differences in opinions or perspectives. The EC is supposed to be able to sit down and look at this and see what is going to give to the nation. On about two counts. One is it okay? Everybody is saying there is a problem. NDC says there is a problem. NPP is saying there is a problem. It's just the approach of solving the problem that they differ. So the EC is supposed to sit down. Is it a matter of cost to change the new register? Is it a matter of cost? If it is, then we have to now ask ourselves, if we depend on the cost element alone and say, okay, it's going to cost us so much, because of that we are not going to do that, and then we are going to stick to the old register. We go into elections and there are problems and God forbid, bloodshed and all that. Are we going to be able to buy the lives with the money that we kept and not spent on a new register? Is it a matter of time? Are we saying that no, it's too close to elections, we can't do that? Time is of the essence, and so is it a matter of time? And I am of the opinion that we are supposed to sit down, the EC is supposed to sit down and look at this thing critically. If it is a matter of cost, then we are supposed to look, we have been borrowing anyway. And so if it is a matter of cost and it will bring us national security and safety, then it means that we should look at probably going to our foreign partners and donors to ask for funds to do this. If it is not a matter of cost but time, then we should start early. If genuinely an audit is possible, taking out the names that are not supposed to be there are possible, why not? Let's do that. But at the end of the day, let us make sure that we do not also blacklist the EC, and before elections we've already run them down and things like that, so that people will give credibility to that institution, and when they come up to say that NPP won or NDC won
or CPP
or PPP, even NDP, whoever won will be credible enough.
Okay. Samens.
Political parties are set up to pursue, first of all, their interest, an interest that is common to the membership and the support base of the political party. Now, this interest is normally couched within the general interest of the country, and that's why political parties generally all mean well for the country. It's only the approach or how they execute their manifesto which would differ. I see this gesture by Ronaldo as a noble one, a real element of empathy. Some young man who probably is not a member of a political party, and I say probably because I don't know him, who heard that there's a demonstration going on. It's something we have all done in the past, and is excited by the whole frenzy and the whole excitement about going on demonstration, and then joins in the demonstration, and then police, in their attempt to restrain people from doing what they are not supposed to do, pull a trigger, and then this gentleman is shot in the eye. Now, my first issue is this: would this be the first time we have witnessed a situation like that as a nation? And I'm sure we all know the answer. The answer is no. So, are we learning at all as a nation? And the answer is no. Granted, as Pastor said, that these persons did what they were not supposed to do. And I'm saying that because I went there, not as a participant, but I went to stand at the cathedral and I was watching. I just stood there and I was watching, And I found some of the things that were happening very bizarre. I found it bizarre and uncalled for. Because in some cases, the persons were just standing and watching. They were not moving as in, let's fight the police. They were standing. In the presence of Dr. Agnes Edu, which I saw with my own eyes, there were about 5 female police women pushing, shoving her, pushing her, get out, video. I mean, what's the drama about this? So, you see, let's contain a situation without endorsing the excesses. I'm saying that if you went to court to secure a judgment or whatever you call it, that these persons are not supposed to do ABC, if they do it, arrest them. Arrest them and take them back to court so that they be jailed. This is my view of the situation. So is it the fact that every time there's a demonstration and somebody does something they are not supposed to do, you are going to shoot somebody in the eye? Then very soon we'll be having one-eyed men all over the place. So when we have registered excesses, I think that we should address it, because even the president has talked about it. Yeah. Nanado talked about it. The president has talked about it, because when the president saw the pictures, he wasn't proud to be superintending over a country where police can brutalize people in this manner. I'm saying that these guys also indicated that they will be hitting the streets again. Has the police drawn any lessons from this in terms of how they want to engage them? And I'm saying, be quick to arrest them if they go wayward. But as for this practice of shooting and brutalizing people, it's so archaic, and it's so backward that it should be condemned. Because you see, today it is somebody on the street that you shot. Tomorrow, you, the policeman, you will be on retirement. And your son, your relative, will be on the street protesting for something, and the same thing will be done to them. And you see how the world is. So I'm just saying that we should use the legal framework that is available to us, use the law courts, arrest them. You have the power to arrest anybody that misconducts themselves. So take them back to court. Or if you want to, engage them in these physical things, ask for using the gun, whether it's rubber bullet or whatever. I think that we should desist from it. They are not armed robbers, and they didn't come armed anyway. So I still condemn the excesses, and I'm saying that next time the police should handle this thing better.
More professionally.
Hobby.
Well, I come from a law enforcement background, and I beg to differ as far as Samen's argument is concerned. There's a process to go on demonstration in this country. There's a Public Order Act. Inform the police, give them notice, so that you as a group of demonstrators will be given protection. Now, you want to use a specific route. The police says, look, for security reasons, you cannot use this route. So let's use this route. The police starts the process of engagement from the day you announce your intention to go on demonstration. It gets to a point where you disagree. The police has to go to court to get a court order that spells out where you are going to pass for a demonstration. I think this is fair. It happens in every developed society. But in our society, people think they can back the trend. Why would the police go to court and get a court order and you decide that in your own interest you want to defy the court order? Today we are sitting here talking about judges, defying what they are supposed to do as judges. It's the same thing that is being mirrored on the ground at the demonstration level. You want to defy the court order. The court order says go through road A, B, C and get to your destination. Why do you want to take road C, E and get to your destination? More so when you have police protection. Why do you want to do that? This issue about Ajakma would never happen if they had followed the prescribed route. It is a needless thing that happened, unnecessary, uncalled for, just because people don't want to follow the law.
But the police expected that. I mean, you cannot go out and say you're protecting people without thinking that one or two people will misbehave. It didn't warrant the brutalities we saw on the street.
But the police, they came ready to crash, not to protect.
It's not about police coming ready.
They have proven that they didn't come to protect. They are proving.
The police have split second to make certain decisions. Split seconds. And in security situation, split seconds means life or death. I'll give you two examples. Remember the case of Amadou Diallo in New York City? The police officers called him, raise your hands, drop everything you have, and he tried to put his wallet back in his pocket. What happened to him?
They thought he was taking a gun.
They thought he was holding a gun. Yeah. He was shot dead. Remember the Brazilian in London who couldn't, by virtue of English language, didn't understand that when you raise your hands and you don't bring it down, it's when the guns are drawn. He was just bringing his hand back. He was shot in the train. Split second decisions. Have you seen policemen being killed just because they said hands up and the person goes and pops the police person? It happens all the time. That's why in the US, when a policeman does a traffic stop, the first thing he does is to call for a
But in this case, you saw people running away. The police were chasing them and beating them.
Nanaba. Yeah. Why do you have to defy the court order? What is the basis?
Well, I don't have a reason for them. But they defied it. Yes. The police, they could have, like Samen said, arrest them. You don't beat them.
You know the number of policemen who were on duty at that time?
Does that matter?
It matters.
That we are talking about arrest. Let me tell you something. I would dare say this. At the beginning, when they got there, the policemen even outnumbered the demonstrators.
Fine.
At the beginning,
that is good.
You know, it was this back and forth.
We have it's easier. Arresting or beating them up.
How do you arrest somebody?
I mean, the case of Amadou Diallo that you talk about, everybody knows the way to go, that when a policeman requests that you raise your arm, you keep it up.
Good.
No. So it means that when you bring your arm down, you have done something wrong.
It's the same thing. When the police tells you go through road A and you go through road B,
if you
have done something wrong.
You have not threatened the life of the policeman.
No. You have done something wrong. You decided.
So you should go back to court.
In that process,
of course,
where the demonstration is in place,
you go back to court, arrest the person. You have the power.
You see,
so are you, as a former interior minister,
because I've seen this
time demonstration, they should be shooting people? Is that what you are saying?
The NDC went on demonstration, Ropa. I'll give you an example. Ropa demonstration. Nobody defied the route that was asked or the court order permitted.
Well, when he says route, he means route.
Yes.
He's American trained.
Yes. Nobody defied it. But after we had presented or done whatever we had wanted to do, we gathered at the sports stadium and people were just milling about. You know what happened? The police came, whipped people up for unlawful gathering.
Is that right?
Listen, but that is true.
No, but is that right?
Listen, but that is true. But that's in your demonstration, you didn't say you are going to gather at the stadium.
No, but that is still bad.
You see, Samens, don't let us make excuses for people defying the law.
But I'm not making. I said take them to court and jail them.
In the process of demonstrating, you can arrest them and take them to court.
That is what happens.
So what would have happened if you had just followed the route?
What I'm saying is that
would there have been any chaos?
No. But if
would everybody have lost an eye? No.
If you do not follow the route,
why don't you like to follow the law?
The police should learn to use the same law that they went to secure in the
yes,
courts.
The police will do that. But if demonstrators having rights to demonstrate also exercise their responsibility to be law-abiding, would there have been any problem?
But if they fall foul of the law, they should be dealt with through the law.
And not minimum force.
Does it show if you block people's eyes, you call that minimum force?
I am not for
graduated.
I'm not
That's a new word.
bludgeoning people.
That's what
has happened.
Yes, I'm also saying that
the president of the Republic of Ghana has condemned it, and
so the president will condemn it because when he sees those very images. Yes,
but he condemned it.
The fundamental
with more
responsibility is on
that
us
he has
as demonstrators and as citizens.
I'm saying that the president has more information on this issue than yourself.
Fine.
And it should be more difficult for the president to even condemn. But he did it in humility. So we should be humble enough.
Okay.
I am not against the president condemning it.
I will go back to what I said when the issue of Constable Achiku came, that we need to invest into the police force. As in training them, negotiation skills and all that. I believe that you were talking about the arrest and all that. I think that in the heat of the moment, there are certain things, decisions that you will make that will not, I mean, if the ratio is not favorable to the police, there are thousands of demonstrators. The police are about 100. How do they arrest everybody?
I was there for the Occupy Ghana demonstration. Occupy Ghana, I was there when they arrested people who were misconducting themselves, and Kofi Bento joined them and went to the police headquarters or wherever. So it is possible.
I'm not disputing.
I mean, as for blocking off people's eyes, we will condemn it. What is that?
You see, nobody will speak for that.
Look after a son through DSS and everything. Then some happy, trigger happy policeman will shoot to the person because they say he crossed the line.
That is not right.
You know the distance
if you follow the law, nothing would have happened.
I agree. I have not disagreed. But I'm saying that if you disobey the law, let's use the law to straighten you out. The law should. But shooting people we should condemn, and I'll keep condemning it.
Definitely.
Because this boy, I don't know him from
nobody's going to see this.
Nobody's going to hail the police for shooting.
Exactly.
But to say that they disobey, so is they are doing. Do you know how many times you have do you know how many times you have disobeyed traffic rules yourself?
I can't even count.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying that.
But if he's being punished for disobeying traffic rules
through the law. Yes.
But that's what the law is.
The law says you should plug people's eyes.
No, the law doesn't say. The law says use some force. The law allows you to use some force.
Use reasonable force. Is that reasonable?
How do you measure it?
By taking people's eyes.
Come on,
as for taking people's eyes,
the argument you are making that they came unarmed is not true.
Unless you know what.
No. Arm doesn't necessarily connote carrying a weapon.
Well,
You are using wood carrying placards.
yes.
How do you?
But if you have Wawa board can't kill.
You say Wawa board can kill.
Wawa board
can block somebody's eyes.
Have you seen any video? Have you seen any video of the demonstrators throwing stones at the police?
It's possible
Yes.
they did. In reaction to what the police
Yeah.
did.
That's what I'm saying.
reaction
The
to what the
police
police
have
did.
minuscule
Because-
second to make certain decisions on security matters.
Reasonable decisions.
But then again,
No, that's why it's defined.
there are some
The
of the
reference
things that the
is
police
reasonable.
did. I think that using, say, rubber bullets,
It's permissible.
Yeah, permissible.
The water cannon.
Water cannon is
Obviously.
permissible.
Even the tear gas.
It's a route control.
But to a
Ground
point,
control.
you don't-
Look, in the United Kingdom, where I am familiar with, they also use rubber bullets.
Yes.
But they don't shoot people's eyes. The police.
I can show you
the
images of
British
British
police.
police.
Maybe the-
They do not shoot people's
I
eyes.
can show you
right.
maybe the images of British police using rubber bullets on people.
Produce the
Simon,
image.
when we get out, we can show you.
I can't remember the exact thing.
They
There
don't
was a
shoot people's eyes.
demonstration
They don't shoot somebody's
somewhere
eye
in London.
and name the person
was bloody.
for
It was
life.
bloody.
Very
I
bloody.
don't remember the
July
actual
8th, the recent one, July 8th,
And
the
they
one
were
that they
shooting
had.
people's eyes.
It was bloody.
They know how to do it better. You put police
training.
That's
So
the
training.
point I made.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. If
Okay.
we invest in them, train them, bring more.
The people they are not experienced. They go and shoot somebody in the eye and they say what the people cross their line. What kind of language is
They
that?
have minuscule minutes make certain
and that
decisions.
is why
the
you need
police always
experienced
life
people.
and the police should not
people
also be
have
seen.
been tempted beyond
Look at the
this before,
policeman
and they have
guarding an
delivered.
installation for somebody and he's dead. Just dead. Somebody goes to use a rock on his head.
But
Kills
that's
him.
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. You say it's
Of course,
unfortunate.
of course.
You think he deserves that?
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we are
But
saying.
you also
You know,
think
decisions are minuscule.
somebody's eyes will have to be plugged because he
Minuscule.
crossed the line.
Minuscule.
What are you
When it
talking
comes
about?
to
Cement,
security
you know,
But the
Kobe,
pastor here.
you know, Kobe was the deputy interior minister, so he's talking from the police
No,
perspective.
I agree. I
And
give
it's
it
like-
to him. I'm not. You see, I'm only stating my case based on what I also know,
No, yeah.
and I'm saying that between the cathedral and the EC is a long distance. So if somebody tries to cross to the other side of the road from the cathedral, that's not the most. So don't
why
shoot the
don't you
person in
just
the eyes.
follow the rule?
The person has been disobedient, so take him to court.
But Kobe, you know that in every society there will
Don't
always
shoot
be
people like that.
deviants.
Of course.
There will always be deviants.
We are trying
The
to
police
build a better
went
I
society.
know, but there will always
But
be
you
deviants.
can't have the perfect.
That is why the laws are there to keep people
That's
back,
it. Okay.
back in line.
All right then.
There were barricades there. There were barricades there. I'm
Kobe,
telling you.
but next time the demonstrators should also abide by the
Yes,
rules
that's
of
what
the
I'm
game.
saying. You see, you are talking as if we'll have only one set of demonstrators in Ghana for
I'm
the rest
talking
of our
about
life.
demonstrators.
And I'm saying that
Not
the demonstrators
just-
are normally
Let my
deviant.
vote count.
Demonstrators all the time are normally deviant, but the police are trained.
That's it.
So the police should know how to manage excesses. This is the point. You can't be shooting people and taking off
That
their
is not
eyes.
right.
You see,
That's
as
not
for
right.
taking somebody's, you see, the eye cannot be replaced.
It's just like
We
the
are all
policeman
condemning
cannot
that.
be brought
So
up
the
to
police-
life.
Comments. That's good.
Yes, that means we are all condemning that. But just as you advise the cat, you advise the mouse.
Okay. Tell me.
You
Jerry.
do the
Nobody
same.
here has said that
That
they
the-
were right.
they weren't,
in
but the
defying.
police should
But I'm
also be
saying that
more-
the police should use the law.
All right. It's time now.
Oh,
It's time
the
now.
time came too quickly.
Yes. It's 8 o'clock.
Where the stubborn police people?
Thank you very much, Kobe Echampong, who went through his vetting yesterday in Cape
Successfully.
Coast North. Yes, successfully, I must add. All the best.
Thank you very
On
much.
November
When is the
7th.
election?
November
November
7th.
7th, yeah.
Yes. Yes. We'll be praying for you.
We wish you well.
Dr. Nyamiche will be praying for you. Special
We
prayer.
wish you well.
We won't charge.
No. He doesn't do
No,
that.
he doesn't do that. Yeah. Dr. Michael Bwedi Nyamiche, head pastor, founder, Makers House International. He doesn't like it. That's why he keeps doing it. And then Samuel
lost your
Atamensa.
father.
Sorry.
You lost your dad.
Yes, I did.
Nanaba lost the dad, so that's why she's in black. And,
Sorry to hear.
Yeah.
yeah.
Our condolence.
Thank you.
Condolences.
Yeah.
Our condolences to her.
All
Thank
of
you.
us.
Samuel Atamensa is the managing director of City FM. And that will be it for the newspaper review. We've got
We grew up together, me and this guy.
you and him, yeah.